Yo, yo, yo. Welcome back, everybody, to another installment in the Intelligent Idea Talkers podcast series. I'm your host, D.
This is Juice.
And I'm the A to the C to the E, Ace.
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. How you just gonna do us up on the intro like that, Ace? You can't be doing that.
I want to start over.
Ace, I know, right? Ace, you gotta give us some leeway. You can't just be coming in there.
You know what I'm saying?
So I'm the A to the C to
off
the
the
E.
top.
Yeah, you know what I mean? That was
I
cool
wasn't
though.
even done though, you know what I'm saying?
Oh, my bad.
Sorry.
It's cool.
Next time we'll let you keep going. No, that was cool, Ace, man. You definitely gotta let us know. You gotta warn us on that though.
Yeah.
I gotta have my shit prepared. Okay?
I already got something for next time.
Yeah, you know what I mean? Alright, so we back. What is this, episode 7?
Episode 7.
Episode 7.
Yeah, man.
Número 7.
So, we were thinking about switching up the format of the cast a little bit. Instead of having specific articles that we all send to each other, we were kind of thinking about going a little more unscripted. What do you guys say, unscripted?
A little unscripted, a little more on topics closer to our hearts in particular, as opposed to topics we pull from current news. And not that those topics aren't particularly, interesting to us, but we don't want it to be stuck to that format.
Yeah, I mean, we don't want to try to imitate the Young Turks or anything like that. We don't want to become like a secondary kind of news show.
Right.
Although, I like the topics that we did on the last couple podcasts. I thought those were interesting to me. But yeah, we're definitely going to plow forward with this new style here. And hopefully you guys will like it just as much, if not more, than the last couple. So
You're going to like it. Don't worry about it.
yeah, they're going to like it.
They're gonna love it.
Especially because we got Ace on there. So, yo, Ace, I'm still mad about that intro, man. All right, you gotta let us
Off
know
the
when you're
top.
gonna be. Yeah,
Yo.
you can't just be coming in with the A to the C to the E without, forewarning us about that. All right? Covering the sports angle this week. I saw something on TV earlier in the week. As everybody knows, the Cleveland Cavaliers won their first ever NBA title this past Sunday night.
Round of applause.
1 week ago. I always like a good underdog myself, being a Washington sports team fan, and especially the Redskins. My team has never picked to win anything, so just like they weren't picked to win the NBA title, I like to root for a good underdog. But
Are you a Wizards fan?
well, yeah, I mean, I like any Washington sports team. I mean, I'm not really that into baseball or hockey, but if I had to pick a favorite team, I'd pick the Nationals or the Capitals,
Yeah, it's a home team.
Obviously, yeah, I like the Wizards and the Redskins.
I always had this strange, I never understood why people are so hardcore for teams that are where they're not from that area at all.
Yeah, exactly.
I don't
I don't follow it.
I know. And
Wait a
Ace,
minute.
We could do a whole
is
podcast on
Eagles
this.
fan. All right.
Yeah, and then because where
Ace,
I'm
where are
from,
you from?
I'm from Danville, Virginia. Okay, we'll say Virginia. We don't have our own team.
How
Yes, you
far
do.
is that from?
You have the Washington Redskins.
No.
Yes, I think people like to hate on the Redskins. And I know this is kind of off topic from where I started the Cleveland Cavaliers, but I think people like to hate on the Redskins because we haven't been as successful in a long time, and
People forget
like
so easy.
Yeah, they forget how successful this team was back in the mid '80s and the early '90s, and they like to pick a winner. They like to pick teams that win. And what's the opposite of the Redskins? The Cowboys. Why you have so many Cowboys fans in this area?
Don't get me wrong, though. Like, yeah, I'm a Bengals fan when we're talking about football, but the Redskins would be my second choice. And that's not because I live here. That's because my father has been a lifelong, forever Redskins fan.
Mm-hmm.
So, like, I knew nothing about the Bengals until later on in life. So before that, I was a Redskins fan.
Mm-hmm.
So what about the Bengals, particularly, like being a sports team full of people you've never met and full of a sport that you've never particularly done? Not saying you,
because some people like the logos, some people like the colors. I mean,
like
there are different reasons that you can.
I'm sorry.
There are different reasons that you can be a fan of a particular team.
I love Coach Marvin Lewis.
Okay.
And then, like, I've been with the Bengals since 2009 when Carson Palmer was first drafted.
Mm-hmm.
So I've been with them. Then, of course, they came on HBO Hard Knocks in, like, 2011, 12.
Yeah, that was true.
And I watched that whole episode.
Have a good, relationship building situation.
How about you call up Marvin Lewis and tell them they need to win a playoff game, okay? Because they
First of
haven't
all,
won a playoff game the whole time
make
he's
it to
been
the
there.
playoff game, so I'm just saying.
We made it there last year, too, anyway. Right? The thing is, the Bengals have been in the playoffs. Anyway, we're way off topic. All right, how do we get to the Bengals? All right, okay. Listen,
there's 73 days left to football. Just
I can't wait.
Out there.
You know what I mean? Hey, I can't wait. I'm ready for football. So, okay. So the reason we got on sports in the first place is because the Cleveland Cavaliers won their championship last week, and they had their championship rally parade on Wednesday, and I'm laying there looking at this thing. And there were several players from the Cleveland Cavaliers who didn't have on shirts during the parade and during the rally. And I mean, it's such a simple thing. You think to yourself, they just don't have on shirts. What's the problem? But to me, this is an image thing. It's when we talk about the way black people are viewed worldwide as well as here in this own country, and people, white, Indian, whatever, Asian, that don't know anything about being black or black culture, why they view us in a certain light, it's because that stuff like when you have people in the forefront of our culture, especially professional athletes, because they get so much of attention, when they put across an image like something as simple as wearing no shirt, why that should be such a problem. To me, it's that's why they correlate us with this kind of thug mentality. The three players who didn't have on shirts one was J.R. Smith, one was Iman Shumpert, and I'm not sure the other guy's name. It's a really simple thing, no shirts, but to me, it's about image, man.
It is about image, and so you brought up this analogy earlier when we were talking, but you were talking about how, you have the guys at the end of the driveway all the time, and like you see this on what was the movie, Boys in the Hood? I don't know. But yeah, you was at the end of the driveway, just like, lifting weights in the playground. To me, this is what I'm saying? It's just no shirts, just kind of like showing off your muscles, being particularly.
To me, this is a lack of professionalism.
Showing aggression,
But they're having a parade. It's like championship. They just won. You know what I'm saying? Let them be fine.
You can celebrate. You can celebrate. The night before, or the night of, or the night after they won the championship, the team plane stopped off in Las Vegas, right? And there was an article in Sports Illustrated that was talking about these guys not wearing shirts. And there was pictures of the same guy, J.R. Smith, who didn't have on a shirt in the nightclub in Las Vegas. Right? That's fine. There's no cameras around. You're not in front of millions of people watching on television. You're not in front of all your hometown hundreds of thousands of fans there to see you, kids, women, children. It's fine to have on no shirt, but when you're in a team parade, what's wrong with just putting on a
maybe it was
Cleveland Cavaliers 2016 championship
shirt? When you watched it, like I watched it, and when I was looking at it, it was like the first thing that kind of pops out to you during this entire play where everybody's celebrating, clapping, taking pictures and selfies with these players, these championship winners, is you see these three players who are just kind of. They're out of place. And to me, it's not like everybody's wearing suits and stuff, but they're so out of place. They don't have their shirts on.
Just put on a championship team shirt. Put on a Nike shirt. Put on a Cleveland Cavaliers shirt. Something.
It looks like they're trying to draw attention to themselves. Like they're trying to steal the show.
And like you were saying, I don't know
if that's a problem, but all I'm saying is that it doesn't, like you said, it doesn't look professional.
It just doesn't. And like you were saying, to me, when you have on no shirt and you're that's what guys at the end of their driveways lifting weights will do. That's what guys chilling in the parking lot of their apartment complex drinking 40s with their homeboys. That's what they'll do.
It's like that asshole in the
when you're a
motherfucking
professional
bar
athlete and
who takes his shirt off. Where everybody's out partying and drinking, and he's want to be that one particular dude who wants to take his shirt off in front of everybody just because I guess he works out.
And I'm not saying
it looks weird.
They're professional athletes. He's in great shape. You got all your tats and everything. And to me, it was just the wrong image to kind of put across.
Are you going to say something about having a cigar in his mouth too? Because didn't he have a cigar in his mouth too?
He did, but if you look at the cigar, it didn't look like he was actually smoking it. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? And I mean, a couple puffs on a Cuban. You did win a championship. But it didn't look like he was actually smoking the cigar and tapping it out. Like, any picture with the cigar was always the same length. It wasn't getting shorter, And he's a basketball player.
He's a cigar and a shirt on.
He's a basketball player. He's not gonna care about it. He's not gonna hit that cigar that hard.
It's just really douchey.
It just didn't put across. I mean, why are they the only three black men, black, white, anybody associated with the team? Why are they the only three without shirts?
It could have been other people who didn't have on shorts, but the media just.
I'm surprised that nobody
they got caught.
I'm surprised nobody in their public relations staff of the team
told them to put on a shirt.
Exactly, put on a shirt, man. we have people watching. You don't know who's watching. I sent you guys a video. President Obama calling Tyronn Lue, who's the coach of the Cleveland Cavaliers, and he thought the same thing. You know, he said it in kind of passing, but hey, tell JR to put his shirt on.
Yeah, joking.
It's the same thing. Like, just put on the shirt, man. Like, you could do the same thing with having an extra small Cleveland Cavaliers team shirt that you can with no shirt.
You can still
show your muscles. You can show your tattoos.
Still flex with
you
that.
You can still
medium.
look cool. And then after the cameras are off, the lights are off, and nobody's watching, then you can take your shirt off and go party.
All right, so to play devil's advocate, though. So what particularly is wrong with not having a shirt on a scenario like this, though? Other than, okay, it looks douchey, but is there anything more to it? So I made the argument they're just drawing attention to themselves. But is there anything more than that? Like, how is this particularly ghetto because we've seen it in the movie?
It's because of what they look like, because they're all tattered up. You know what I'm saying? Does that have something to do
that
with it?
And with the way that the rest of the world views Black American people. They always have this tendency to correlate us with being ghetto. Even Black people do it to other Black people. Mm-hmm. I mean, talking about your topic with the lady in Baton Rouge. You know, I kind of put her into the certain mold. Oh, she's from Baton Rouge, Louisiana. And now, you know, you kind of start to form a certain...
She poor. She must be a certain way, unfortunately.
And these guys, not to say that they're thugs or gangsters just because they didn't have their shirt on, but when you have a suburban white housewife who doesn't know anything about Black culture or Black people, who doesn't know many Black people, when they see this on TV and they say, you know, let me check out the Cleveland Cavaliers Championship Parade, and they see these three guys in the forefront of everybody with no shirts on, drawers showing, it just sends... That's why people tend to cast us in a certain light. You know, our people that we have of our race who are in the forefront of our of mainstream media to act this way is, I mean, to me, it just sends the wrong message. You know, just put on the shirt, man. You know what I mean? Just you know, show some teamsmanship. Put on a Cleveland Cavaliers championship shirt. Have on a Nike shirt. You know, and even for another point, I don't know how much you guys watched of the actual rally. LeBron James had like a 10-minute speech. And he was just cussing up a storm, man. Oh,
really?
Shit.
I didn't see that.
Yeah, I mean, we shitting this and fucking that. I'm like, man. Like,
oh, man. For like a public speech?
What was anybody in their PR staff thinking? You know, like to tell them, hey, man, keep the language down, put on the shirt, you know. You got to act professional. You don't know who's watching.
There, but what did they expect to win? So their PR team was like...
You had 2 days between the time you won and the time the rally happened.
All right, true.
Like, look, President Obama called up the coach and said, hey, tell JR to put a shirt on. You don't know who's watching. You know what I mean?
But it's not like they're out interviewing for other jobs.
Right.
Yeah. It's about image. It's about image, man.
Relax, you know what I'm saying? And the celebration is about them.
I feel what you're saying, though. Like,
it's all about
when you have this idea, you know, of... It reminds me a lot of, like, hip-hop music videos, you know? Where you'll see the most flamboyant expressions of just ghetto fabulous lifestyle. And then people catch those things and they associate those ridiculous notions with most Black people in America. Mm-hmm. Like, oh,
this is what we want.
This person's not like that, we want chains. Not normal, you know?
Yeah, we want just all types of women, and you know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
Like I said, I don't want to cast these guys in the molds where they're gangsters and thugs. J.R. Smith had a very emotional interview after the championship game, the same night, where he was talking about his parents and his upbringing and the fact that, you know, and it was very emotional. Man. He was crying, talking about how the cars and the money and the lifestyle, and none of that means anything without his family, you know. Yeah, so I don't want to cast him into a certain mold that he's a thug, because I don't know him personally, and I saw that interview, and it definitely humanized him. You know, I think we have a tendency to forget that these athletes that we root for on Sundays and for these sporting events are actually human beings, and they have thoughts and feelings. But
that's
yeah,
true,
I mean,
that
to
kind
me,
of reflects on this topic as well. Like maybe they just didn't think about it. Like you see something like this, maybe they just didn't think that, oh, this could be portrayed a certain way. But the fact that all three of them did it, to me, kind of makes me think that, oh, this is kind of coordinated. Or
so why didn't anybody else not have on a shirt? I'm sure there are white guys on the team with tattoos who are in great shape. Why did they have on a shirt?
Maybe they're three homies, you know?
Maybe they're three musketeers in that joint. I think these guys, sometimes they're not conscious of the image that they're putting out there, not only for themselves, but when you're in such a high profile, exactly, Ace, you're in such a high profile position, people look up to you, and you're kind of at the forefront of us. You know what I mean? Like,
so here's a question. So when you have sports heroes, and this comes up a lot when Black people talk about leaders and their heroes, But when you have sports heroes who are not particularly trained in anything other than the sport they do, but is it on us as a black culture to look at these people as heroes, even though they're like 22, 25 years old, and they have no particular social training? They have training in playing this particular sport, yet we look at them for some kind of social guidance. Yeah, we put him on a pedestal. Like when I saw LeBron in that car and he was driving through the city, he looked like the president of the United States. Like there's 1,000, 5,000 people in the crowd waving, all wearing the same colors. I'm like, yo, can you rally these people and start a war? I don't know.
Something that bothers me because the team, like, I know LeBron. Everybody says like he's the leader of the team, but the team is not just LeBron. Like I feel like everybody should get the same kind of respect and credit that LeBron gets. That's just how I feel. Because if it wasn't for the whole team, they wouldn't be there. Yeah, LeBron might have did, you know what I'm saying, like might have had the most points or something like that. However, but I don't sport. Right. Like it's no I in team, and I don't personally. I just feel some sort of way about that. How everybody just looks at like, oh, LeBron did this. It's all about LeBron.
But
LeBron
should we hold LeBron to the level of a
because did
hero?
Anybody else get to ride in the car? Like it was just LeBron, him and his family, right?
Oh, really?
The Bentley. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, that's right.
LeBron gets the bulk of the credit because the Cleveland Cavaliers sucked the last 2 years before LeBron got there. I mean, they had one of the worst records in the league. He came back there, they made it to 2 straight NBA finals, and they won one of them. You know what I mean? So he gets a lot of that credit, you know?
Yeah.
Before he came back to Cleveland, Miami went to 4 straight NBA finals. When he left Miami, the last 2 years, they haven't been there.
But
so
put him
he
on the
gets a lot
team
of
by
that credit.
himself, he wouldn't win. You know what I'm saying? Like, you need other people.
That's true. And
but what if you had a team of 5 LeBrons? Now,
then you winning everything.
Yeah, you win it all the time.
But he, in his defense, he credited his teammates in his speech. He did credit them.
He did for like 2.5 seconds.
Yeah, and go back to LeBron. LeBron had on a shirt. You know,
albeit a Nike shirt,
albeit he didn't have on a Cleveland Cavaliers shirt. Thank you, Ace.
But wait,
he had on a Nike shirt because obviously LeBron is a smart businessman. First, he signed a lifelong deal with Nike, like probably about 2-3 months ago. So why not have on a Nike shirt when you know you're going to be in front of the world and millions of people are watching? You're branded. You have on a Nike shirt. Same thing with J.R. Smith and these other guys, and Mon Shumpert. Put on a shirt, man. You don't know who's watching. You don't know who's paying attention to this. You know, it's about the image you put across. I mean, you might be hurting yourself with future endorsement deals. You know, somebody from Gatorade might see that and be like, "Oh, this dude's kind of acting thuggish. We don't want him to represent us." You know,
he doesn't want to wear a shirt.
They'll approach LeBron. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So LeBron is tatted out just like J.R. Smith did. He got tats and everything like that, but he had on a shirt. It's about image. It's about business. When you step up into this pedestal that we tend to put sport athletes on in this country, it's about the way you present yourself, man. I thought they did a bad job of that in this parade. That's just me. You know, I don't know.
I can see that.
He's in great shape. I wouldn't if I was a professional basketball player and I just won a championship. You might feel like that. You might feel like taking your shirt off. Hey man, I'm free. You know what I mean? Swinging it around your head and whatnot. But yeah, but you know, you got to realize where you are, and you got to realize who's looking and who has eyes on you. And I don't think these guys did a good job.
So they should be like professional at all times.
Not at all times, but during your championship rally parade when you are in front of so many people.
They need to be professional at all times because they could be out partying at the club, you know, have one too many drinks.
Or something goes down.
You know what I'm saying?
And now everybody has cell phones and people are recording. Yeah, so
record some.
Who knows, man?
Maybe they do. Like maybe that goes back to the topic I brought up. Like maybe they have to act professional all the time because they are
always watched
at the forefront. They're always watched. Mm-hmm. And if you see a 5-year-old kid is watching you and a 50-year-old man, and everybody's looking at you for something, whatever it is, you know, when you have this position.
Sports and athletes, and this goes back to what we were talking about a couple weeks ago with the Redskins. In this country, athletes are put on such a high pedestal, man. People will know more about the structure of their favorite professional team than they'll know about their state government. You know what I mean? You might not know who the governor is or who the so-and-so is, but you know who your coach of your team is or who plays the power forward or who plays left guard on your offensive line or something like that. You know that stuff, you know?
People love the entertainment way more than what actually matters in their overall lives.
Hey, it's sad, but we're not getting back on this Redskins topic, dude. Okay? We had our battle a couple weeks ago.
I didn't even think about
that.
Well,
I'm just saying. I'm just saying. I want to squash it before we even get there.
It up.
Okay? Let's squash it before we get there. All right? Yeah. So, yeah, I mean, that's all I had to say about that, man. I saw that earlier this week. It caught my eye, and luckily for me, President Obama thought the same thing. So, and we'll link all that stuff in the show notes for the show. So,
yeah.
So I guess we could tie this into my topic that I want to bring up. So this could be a depiction of these young men and their displaying their masculinity in front of thousands of people, right? Maybe.
But I mean, for them in particular, how masculine do you gotta be? You're already a professional basketball player. That's masculine enough. You know what I mean? When you go in and dunk on somebody, how much more masculine can you get? You know what I mean? You have that joint flexing in front of the world. They just saw you make a great play. You know what I mean? That's masculine right there.
Wish I could dunk on somebody.
Yeah, you know what I mean? I just want
to dunk on somebody.
I want to dunk on Ace.
Give me a trampoline and I can dunk on y'all.
Ace about to dunk on it. So I'm going to bring up the topic of black masculinity, and I pretty much came up with this idea for this topic off of an image I saw. I don't know if it went viral, but I think a lot of people did see it, so maybe it was viral. It was an image of a black family, and it was a grandfather, a father, and a son. And in this image, the grandfather was kissing the father's forehead, and the father was kissing his son's forehead. So a lot of people look at it, and as Ace said before, you saw 3 generations of black men showing love and affection on Father's Day. So this picture came out. It was a beautiful picture. It came out on Father's Day. So some comments that went around not long after this picture was released, but were referring to this picture, were some pretty particularly homophobic comments and kind of negative comments about the image, about these men showing affection in a certain way. And I particularly thought that this was, I don't know if this is a masculine problem or if this is just a problem of black masculinity, but it's definitely a problem when somebody sees a picture like that and their first response is, nah son, that's gay. Ain't no man kissing me, or just calling them faggots because of an image like that. And I don't know how viral those images went, or not those images, but those comments went. So I definitely saw them. They came up in Newsweek. What do you guys think about that? You guys think that is a issue of masculinity, or do you think it's just maybe a image of homophobia?
First of all, it could be both. I mean, first of all, the internet is mean anyway. The internet will find any reason to be mean. It doesn't matter the picture.
That is true. Twitter is a son of a...
To me, that was a beautiful picture. It could have been 3... of course it hits home a little bit more being 3 black men. Could have been 3 white guys. It's still a beautiful picture. The image that picture sends across. But the internet will find any reason to be mean. It could be a little bit of homophobia. It could be just the fact that they just wanted to find some reason to bring those guys down a little bit, but it was a great picture to me.
It was a good picture.
First thing I think is maybe not so much masculinity, but generational love.
That's what I was about to say, love.
Yeah, love. I mean, your grandfather, his son, and then his son.
Because there's not like a lot of 3 and 4 generation of men right now, because of the way society is.
That's
so
true.
Just the fact that they're, like you said, the grandfather, the father of the son, and the little son to all be together on Father's Day, like, it says a lot. And those people who, said that, because I think even somebody mentioned that it was like, looks like an orgy.
Yeah. It was another comment.
Right.
The internet is mean, man.
Yeah, you can't discount how evil Twitter can be.
Yeah. Facebook, anywhere somebody can post a comment.
To get attention. That's what it is. A lot of people just say stuff to get attention.
Well, that was definitely like...
I didn't think anything in particular as far as homo or gay or anything like that when I first saw it. I thought love. I mean, it's a generational thing. It's keeping it in the family. All those things kind of mixed up. You know what I mean?
But like, would it have been different? Would it have been different if like it had been 3 celebrities? You know what I'm saying, or 3 well-known people? Because
if you had like Baby, Juvenile, and Lil Wayne kissing like that, then yeah.
So why is that so different though? But why is that so different?
Because that's not a father, son, and a grandson.
But like they're
and
all...
it's Baby. You know what I mean? Just Baby being in that joint.
Like Baby or Birdman, whoever. What are you about to say?
I ain't gonna
put
say
some respect on it. That's all.
Okay, so
that's y'all. We finished. We done. Y'all finished. Y'all done. Ew.
So take 3, the same picture, but take 3 celebrities. I don't know, like who I could think of off the top of my head. But would it have been different if it had been celebrities or, you know what I'm saying, well-known people that had that same picture, a grandfather, a father, and a son? Do you think people would have reacted the same way?
If it was like Will Smith, Jaden Smith, and then if Jaden Smith had his son, no, I think the same thing. Yeah,
pushback. I don't think so.
I would think the same thing.
So why is it such a double
Although
standard?
Jaden's kind of weird because he likes to wear dresses and kilts and whatnot, like women's clothes.
So I think that was simply him trying to be edgy.
Mm-hmm. I think so too. Yeah, trying to push.
I don't think he was particularly like, I like wearing dresses. You should wear a dress too. Like, you know, people want a whole lot of weird shit for the sake of fashion over time.
Yep.
Especially Young Thug.
Oh God, Young Thug, man. Just once again, image. Like when you have a bull nose tattoo. You know, a bull nose ring.
Piercing.
Yeah, it's just like...
You're trying to be edgy. Like, that's the same as having a gauge in your ear. Like, nobody needs that, junk.
Come on, man.
You're trying to be cool.
Trying to be different.
Mm-hmm. But, people automatically look at something like that and be like, oh, they're gay. They're defining... They're trying to... demasculate black men, you know? Trying to make men more feminine. And
sometimes that can be true. They said the same thing about Martin and doing Big Mama's house. Or whatever. They try to demask.
White girls with the Wayans.
Yeah.
White chicks.
That's why Dave Chappelle, they said
that
Dave Chappelle had a rift with one of the producers on his show, the Chappelle Show, because they drew up a skit where they wanted him to wear a dress. And Dave Chappelle didn't want to do it. You know? And they brought up the same thing, trying to demasculate. What's the word? Demasculate. Emasculate. Okay, yeah. The image of the black man, you know? You want him to look like emasculate him. You have him put on a dress and parade around in front of millions of people.
So, okay. Going back to the same picture.
Did Eddie Murphy do it? He did it for Nutty Professor, right?
He was a woman in Nutty Professor.
Yeah. Okay.
Dave Chappelle's point was like, at some point, every black man has worn.
And he didn't want to do that. So I see what you're saying. That's a good point.
So going back to that picture, would it have been different if it was a mother, a grandmother, and her daughter? What do you think the comments would have been like then? Still, it would have been like...
It would have never went viral.
It would never went viral. Okay,
what
do you think?
Because it was not
controversial. It might have went viral.
You don't think people would be like, still, that's gay? Or they're lesbians?
Of course they would.
You know
They're
what I'm
mean.
saying? Like,
they're mean.
Maybe somebody, but not as many people as responded negatively on this one. You know? Like, definitely not as much. Because women have... I think I've heard before that women's sexuality is more fluid, so...
More fluid? What does that mean?
More fluid? Don't get me into trying to define stuff from books from a long time ago.
We'll be here all day on about women's sexuality. Okay?
You know what I'm saying? But pretty much, like, the idea is that men's sexuality is supposed to be more rigid. Men find something that they like, and that's why, and they kind of stick to that thing.
More so cut and dry type stuff.
Right, more so cut and dry, yeah. Like, it's not a whole lot of variation for a man's sexuality. So that's what they say, oh, there's no such thing as a bi man because he's just gay. Or, you know what I'm saying? There's not a whole lot of, once you go a certain way for a man, that's it. That's it. If you've gone that way, there's not a whole lot of turning around. You know what I'm saying? Not in the mass. I'm not saying there's not individual cases.
I can buy that. I don't know a lot of gay men. First of all, I know a couple. But they don't float back and forth between being gay and straight.
The book I was like referencing for that comment was called Sex at Dawn, written by Christopher.
But I've known several women who floated back and forth between being gay and not gay. I've known women that tell me, "Oh, I used to be gay in high school." You used to be gay? What do you mean?
I never understood that.
You used to. Maybe you just go to like an experiment phase. But I don't know many men who said that. I used to be gay, or
even like women that be like, "Oh, I'm gay," but then like they have a kid. You know what I'm saying? So like, I never understood that one either.
Maybe that's what it means by fluidity.
I just think that people were looking at that picture and like, oh,
but to me,
this is a sign. Like a lot of times when people talk about masculinity and emasculation of man, they're worried about being weak. You know, they're worried about being perceived as weak. Like Dave Chappelle. Like why? Like so in a situation where he would have had to wear a dress for a role, thousands of people or hundreds of people, actors have done it before. Men,
black and white.
You know, they've done it before. So why particularly he not wanting? And I've imagined it's because it would make him feel he's being portrayed as weaker,
or being stereotyped. He didn't want people to think that he might be suspect.
But do we view Martin Lawrence or
Tyler Perry
or anybody as weaker?
Not
Tyler
really.
Perry might be gay. He might be gay. Tyler Perry's a little bit too in tune with women's feelings to not have a little bit. He
Tyler
got to be
Perry
a little.
is Baxter Stockman, all right.
Yeah, he got to have a little.
Turtle, so.
But do we? I don't personally view Martin any different or Eddie Murphy.
Me neither.
I don't think that they're emasculated or.
What about the Wayans brothers? They play, like you said, in White Chicks. They play women in White Chicks.
That movie was kind of funny though.
It was kind of funny. That was a good.
It was kind of funny though.
The thing is, you don't actually see them as being any less feminine in real life. We understand that these are roles.
But I understand
but in real life,
notion that they could be perceived as weaker. Mm-hmm. I understand their feelings of not wanting to be perceived that way, and Dave Chappelle in particular, him not wanting to put on that dress. I understand. Mm-hmm. But I don't believe I would have looked at him any differently.
So let me ask you guys a question. You all are both black men.
We are black men, in case you didn't know.
So would you all put on a dress if it was for a role or some kind of maybe function, something?
I would feel so weird.
How much am I getting paid?
It would feel weird, right?
It'll have to be some high numbers.
Like, do I got to keep my legs crossed the whole time I'm sitting down? Like, right? This is like little stuff like that. Like, when I put on a dress, do I also have to have the woman etiquette? Yeah, you know what I mean? Do I got to have the etiquette of a woman?
Yes. You have to portray the whole
That's what I'm saying.
role.
It's weird.
So you have to become a woman.
Yes.
She used to be sitting there like this and whatnot, having a dress and whatnot. I'm like, hey, you looking at your leg.
She looking at. I don't know. Like, honestly, it depends on the role. But at the same time, like, would this be an issue where it will come down to a person's like how comfortable they are
in your skin,
in their skin, Mm-hmm. Like, if I show this little sign of femininity, which a lot of men would portray showing some affection to your child or to women as not being masculine. Like, some people have a very warped sense of masculinity.
I can see that. We did a video a couple weeks ago about a father who boxed his son who got in trouble in school.
Exactly, something like that.
And instead of sitting him down, maybe, I don't want to say like giving him a kiss on the forehead, but instead of sitting him down, being a little more sensitive with him, he decided to box him in front of the world.
Him.
Yeah.
Trying to understand him instead of...
Me personally, I kiss my son right now. My son is 4 years old. I'll give him a kiss on his forehead quick. And I don't think that's gay at all. I will say one time my son is used to, kissing his grandmother and his mother on the lips and stuff like that. And I told him, I said, hey man, give me a kiss once. This was maybe like a year or two ago. He was a little younger. And he kissed me on my lips. And I almost flipped out on him. I said, hey boy, you know what I mean? Man, watch it. You don't, the only man you kiss is your dad. Okay, maybe your grandfather, but you don't kiss no man on the lips, okay? I don't care who he is, all right? You don't kiss me on my lips.
I have a nephew, and...
A cheek, forehead, fine. You don't kiss a man on the lips. That's just my personal opinion, not judging anybody out there.
I felt resistance, like, personally showing, like, affection. Like, I have a nephew. My nephew is 9 years old now. And at times, I do feel resistance to showing affection to my nephew. Even though I love him, like, he's like my little, like, twin. But... sometimes,
but he's a boy,
like, just show, he's a boy, so you have to approach it a little differently. Mm-hmm. Like, sometimes I have to, like, feel like I have to force him and stuff. Like, look, you need to give him a hug. Like, he's done something good. He's done something accomplished. Sometimes you want to, like, all right, pat on the back, good job, Mm-hmm. But no, sometimes you have to be like, look, show some affection. So I have to grab him, make sure I hug him. You know what I'm saying? Let him know when I'm proud of him. Let him know that I care about him. And
I might show a little bit too much affection to my son in that case because I hug him all the time.
That's your son.
I give a hug like
that's
every day.
It's
different. Like, I haven't always been around my nephew always.
Yeah,
so.
I know what you mean. Same thing with my nephew. Yeah, like it's different when it's your kid.
Yeah, like my daughter. Like,
I think it would be different even a girl to a boy though too.
Because like
my daughter's so much easier. Like I give her a kiss on the forehead. I hug her, twirl her in the air.
Yeah,
it's great.
Yeah.
But for me, it's the complete opposite. Because my dad was never really the affectionate type for me. Like, and even now that I'm older, or even before I got this age, being 32, like, if I would try to kiss my dad, he'd be like, no, that's not appropriate. You know what I'm saying? Like, I could never...
on the cheek?
Was he old school?
On the cheek, on the head, anything like that,
Was he military?
No, he's not. Well, he did, like, he got drafted back in the day. My dad's 70, so he did, like, 2 years in whatever war, I guess, Vietnam and whatnot. But, like, my dad wasn't the kind of guy to show me affection like that. So my affection... to an extent, came from my mother.
Right.
Her affection was discipline.
So maybe it's a generational thing. Like, part of it could be a generational thing. And sometimes our old views from 20s, 60s get passed down even and carry over. But a lot of times you hear, like, there's a lot of resistance from the older generations with a lot of the new movements. Like the LGBT, I understand why a lot of people are resistant to it. But at the same time, it is part of It's part of our culture now, and also it's if you have a child who turns out to be interested in other ways sexually, right, against what we consider the norm,
Mm-hmm.
like you have to. In the end, you don't want to shun that child. You don't want to shun that person who you raised. Because of their sexual preference. Like I often imagine, like in my mind, what if my daughter was like, she comes to me and like, Daddy, I like Candace.
Mm-hmm.
Like, what's my response? Like, I can't just be like, get out. Like, that's just, you know what I'm saying? I can't do that. So, like...
And it's funny that you mentioned that, because I actually read an article a couple weeks ago. I think the child was like 7 or 8, and it was a girl, but she really felt she was a boy type thing. You know what I'm saying? And it was a big issue as far as like school.
I think I know what you're talking about.
And everything like that. So like, that's a good question. Like, what do you do, especially with kids that are that young?
All I can think of is like, I just want them to come across it honestly. Like, if you come across it, that's how you feel, make sure I just want her to come across it honestly. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Like, I want her to be like, oh, this is something I felt for a long time, whatever, I'm going this way. But I don't want to be like, oh, all my friends are doing it, so hey, it's great. I'm going to do it too. That's my only worry. And
then years later, you find out, I'm going to go back to like the other side.
I wouldn't know what to do if my son came to me and said, Dad, I like Steve or something like that.
You mean Steve Rogers? I love Captain America too. What?
You know what?
Good job, bud.
I would still love them all the same, Yeah, man, it's a tricky subject when you're dealing with older generations and their acceptance of new ways of thinking or new ideas and we can kind of understand that. I don't want to spoil Ace's topic, but, with the whole, like you say, your mother's affection was discipline. Sometimes that is affection, though.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
I think it is.
Those old values and ways of thinking, that is affection to a certain extent, Maybe when we were younger or even older, we wished that they had gave us a hug a little more or,
even
just let us know that they loved us through a different means.
Right.
Like, we could all think of an instance back in the past.
Sometimes
like,
discipline is love. We just don't understand it till we get older,
So there's one quote I do want to read that I came across in the article. And I think it kind of reflects what we were talking about earlier with the Cavaliers and 3 players who, while celebrating, were taking their shirts off and just kind of being a little bit extra. So the quote is this, and it's taken from the IITY Beta online blog article. And the article is called Defining Black Masculinity. And it says, society has an overall perspective that black men are irresponsible in regards to family, well-being, and positions of power. Society expects young black men to be delinquents and commit crimes. It also seems that society expects black men to be emotionless, hardened beings, and if they are anything less, they are considered feminine. I kind of feel like a lot of the times media portrays, often defines what we perceive as masculine and not, and also a lot of other aspects.
You could throw that a lot of ways. Media perceives what
everything
women should take as beautiful, or what
media
black
society,
men should take as masculine, or So that goes a bunch of different ways, man.
Success.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, what's successful?
What is successful? Is it having a lot of money? Is it taking care of your family? Is it all of it? I mean, what is success? I think it's media defined. It's certain standards that media or this country has set.
I think a lot of it is just,
I don't know any statistics, but I swore I read an article recently that said that a percentage of black men who are actually involved in their children's lives, and it had like a list of things that you do with your child every day. Mm-hmm. It was like, do you get your child dressed? Do you give them breakfast? Do you help them with their homework? Do you teach them to ride a bike? And the percentage were overwhelmingly in favor of men that do those things. You know what I mean? So maybe the perception of the black man being absent from the home is another stereotype.
I think it is a stereotype. Like I do remember,
and maybe a lot of that is perpetuated
by media,
by the Cleveland Cavaliers not wearing shirts. Damn it! All right, put a shirt on, okay? It's about image.
Put a damn shirt on.
Now, I bet you, if you showed
run from the kids,
if you showed people those 3 guys, images of those 3 guys with no shirts on, blah blah blah, they say, are they involved in their kid's life? And a question underneath the picture, how many people would say no? Oh. You know what I mean? It's just.
Well, there was one image where one of the guys was holding up his baby,
and it's kind of not fair. It's kind of not fair.
Amon Shumpert, how do you say his name?
It's kind of not fair because I'm pretty sure they are all involved. But it's just that's the
His
way people perceive us, you know.
He's the fiance or married to Tiana Taylor.
He had that high top fade.
Yeah.
Who's Tiana
Crazy.
Taylor?
I'm happy they won, man. I'm happy they won.
Wait, I need a picture.
I like a good underdog, you know. And they were not picked to win that series, being down 3-1.
So
I feel them. You want to have your shirt off, but it's about image, man. The way you present yourself and the way you come across to others.
I definitely think that's a good point you brought up, though. Like the idea that it may very well be a myth, at least more recently in history now, that the absentee black father is not a real thing. You know, I think I remember seeing the article or those statistics, you know, and I actually reposted them on my Facebook.
Yeah, I think I forget where did I get it from you or something. I saw it somewhere. I can't remember. It was a couple weeks ago.
But that definitely getting posted on Fox News. They ain't said nothing about that.
No, they won't say that.
Like news will love to skew the black male as thugs, their favorite word.
I know we covered last week the boy who got attacked by the gator. Was that a white family?
That was a white family.
Now, it can be sometimes the way we talk about things, sometimes we're a little bit too used to getting the sympathetic end of the stick. But his criminal background, his criminal record was brought up. That wasn't with this case. That was with the 8, right?
Oh, yeah, the father's...
Yeah. Was that a white family?
No, that was a black family.
Okay.
And they definitely went to the father's history.
I was about to give white people some credit and say that they brought up his criminal background without him being black.
And that's the wrong story. I was actually talking about that on the last show. Like, they, like the response that the black family got when their kid stumbled into the pit. I mean, his ass shouldn't have been in there, but the response to the family was way, way different. And was not a lot of sympathy. They were talking about blaming. They should sue the family. They should take the kids away from the family and all this craziness when it was a tragedy just as much for them. I mean, they're lucky their child survived, but it could have went a lot worse. But they had zero.
You're right. It wasn't that sympathetic of a response to them. Do you think that had something to do with the other family being white and this family being black? I don't want to believe those things.
I kind of don't think that if the black kid got pulled in the water by a gator, this might be me just having no faith in humanity, but I don't think it would have been nearly as big as a story, dude.
It wouldn't have been a story at all.
It wouldn't have been a story.
They wouldn't even have had a search.
They didn't be like, what was that black kid doing? Like, kind of the way we went at it. Like, why was the kid near the water? They didn't be like, why is that little black kid disturbing the alligator? Why are you going there being a little baby thug? He was trying to feed the alligators. You know what I'm saying? Like, call him a baby thug and stuff. Like, I just feel like that's probably what the response would have been if, you know, there would have been a black family down there.
There's definitely a double standard when it comes to white people and black people.
Media and the way that
so maybe
things are
covered and portrayed and perceived. Yeah.
I don't know. So I just wanted to talk about that for a little bit. Like that those responses to that image, it disturbed me and it made me. I don't know. I just had to talk about it because it didn't resonate
right
with me.
The internet is mean.
I needed those words.
Already. I don't know however y'all get on World Star Hip Hop. I'll send y'all a lot of videos and links. Sometimes scroll down and read through those comments. The people are mean as hell.
The comments on that Obama call?
No, the comments just be mean. Some of them just are funny. It's like people just go in on any and every old thing. They just go in. It doesn't matter.
Be on YouTube though.
The video could be talking about black empowerment and keeping the black dollar black. And people have mean comments on that joint. You know, how do you be mean about...
Or even just say something that's not even irrelevant to that.
Yeah.
Just to get
the internet is just a mean place. You know? But...
You know how I hate the worst? Those people would just be like, first, fuck you. Nobody cares.
Oh, yeah.
That's not even a comment.
She'd be like, nobody cares.
I'm not
Oh, man.
So my first on this video, I'm going to delete that junk.
So next, I guess, let's talk about a 30-year-old African-American woman who was jailed for disciplining her kids after she caught them burglarizing her home. So this happened in Baton Rouge, Louisiana. 30-year-old Shaquana Spears was charged with 2 counts of cruelty to juveniles. So what happened was she was at work. She got a call or something about her kids were burglarizing somebody's home. She left. She got there. She saw her kids inside the home. It was actually a neighbor's home. They had hoverboards, some other electronics and things like that. So she began to basically whoop them, discipline them, beat them.
Did she beat them outside?
You said, did she beat from outside?
I don't know. I don't know if it said that.
A neighbor probably heard the ruckus and called.
Yeah, and basically the police came. They looked at the children. The children had marks. She had 6 children, but it was 3 of them. 3 of her sons. They had marks on their bodies, so they took her in. Basically, they arrested her and charged her. So my thing is, I don't even know where to start with this. Like, is it okay? Let's ask this question. To discipline your children. How do you all feel about discipline?
It is, but not in today's America. And honestly, this mother should have known that. But
I don't know.
First of all, do you know how much
Passions were high.
Do you know how much trouble I would have gotten? Do you know how much trouble I would have gotten if my folks caught me in a neighbor's house when I was younger? You know what I mean? How old are you kids? 13, 14?
Probably equivalent to how these kids.
I would have been in critical condition.
You know what I'm saying?
Like there was a bit like there was like
the kids were 10, 12, and 13.
So do I understand discipline?
That's old enough
yes.
to withstand a good ass whooping.
I understand it completely because I got my ass whooped when I was younger. I mean, there were times where I got in trouble in school. Remember, Juice, it was 11th grade. Remember the white dude, I think it was a Spanish class, man. He pushed me like 2 or 3 times, man. I just didn't swing on him.
Yeah,
I was thinking about what was going to happen when I got home. You know what I mean? Like, I was scared of what was going to happen when I got home.
Sure had a great deterrent.
I'm telling you, like my aunt would have I would have been on punishment for the next 3 months, and I would have got a whoop that day of. I'd have been grounded for 3 months. My groundings were like jail. You know what I mean? You go in your room, there's no TV.
Yes.
There's no, you
no
can
phone,
read. No
nothing.
phone. You
I
can
was
read.
on for like a year.
Yeah, exactly. Like, I was scared of that.
I just got really bad whoopings. I didn't really.
Oh, that was the punishment came after the whooping.
The punishment came after the whooping. Yeah. You got whooped, then you got
put on punishment.
Sorry, guys.
That punishment, man. My punishments were like jail.
I've been grounded a couple times.
It was terrible. Like, I didn't want to be in punishment for the next 3 months of my life. So,
what's some asshole?
Do kids think about that nowadays when they do things?
Not at all. I think these kids, especially this generation, like just from what I see, like the way that these kids talk to their parents, like if I was to say any of these things that these kids these days say to their parents, they be cussing at their parents, fuck you, or I ain't doing this type shit, excuse my languages, but like if I was ever to, like even to now, I'm 32, I never cuss in front of my parents. And if I do, I say something like maybe shit or damn, and before I say it, I said disclaimer, or excuse me, I'm about to say such and such before I even say it. You know what I'm saying?
That's just a respect thing.
Yeah. Right. Yeah. So like, my best friend, she brought up a good point. Shout out to my best friend, Justina. She says, what's wrong in this society is that it says it's okay for police to get our children and kill them, but parents cannot discipline them to keep them out of the system. So I think that's
a very good point.
Yeah, because I think that if the kids these days were disciplined, like I don't think there's nothing wrong with whippings. Like when I was a child, I got beat with extension cords, flash squatters, belts, had to go outside and get my own damn switch off the tree.
God.
And if it was too thin, I had to go outside and get another switch that was bigger.
We had a switch.
You know what I'm saying?
Man,
right. Back scratchers. You know what I'm saying?
I remember my grandma caught me across the back with one of like my plastic commando knives because I was doing something I wasn't supposed to do, and I had my back to her. Man, she caught me. I got whooped with anything. I got whooped with a toy. They found a joint. I got whooped with a toy. So. And
I'm grateful. You know what I'm saying? I can sit now and laugh at this, and I'm grateful because I was disciplined. Because like I said earlier, it kept me out of trouble. It kept me out of being suspended from school. It kept me out of getting into fights. It kept me out of trouble with the law. I've never been arrested, never been to jail. You know what I'm saying? Anything like that. And I think that if children these days, this generation was more disciplined by their parents, a lot of things wouldn't be happening. You wouldn't have these gangs. You wouldn't have this bullying on social media. You wouldn't have, you know what I'm saying, this disrespect for the elders and for their parents. Like, there would be so much, it would be so much better, I think.
I think that it would definitely be better, but there's definitely limits to what like a whooping can do. Like,
I think to the point where you break skin and start bleeding, that's when it becomes abuse. I can't remember ever getting a whooping where I was bleeding.
You don't want to go too far, but the problem with the CPS is they don't seem to have any kind of system of gauging how far one thing went, you know? Or maybe if they do, it's inefficient.
Well, I think there was times
it depends on what kind of bleeding we're talking about. I would say probably bleeding's too far. Like, if you make a kid bleed, then you might have went too far.
If it's like a whelp bleed,
they
need a way to gauge what's too far and what's not.
If it's like cuts and like really hard bruises,
just telling me that I can't.
If you're discolored, then you might have went too far.
Or if you break something, you know what I'm saying?
If you break something, yeah, exactly.
Just telling me I can't hit my
CPS
kid.
Needs a limit or some kind of test to determine how far this discipline went, and to say that their role is to be like, hey, this kid has been hit in any kind of way or been disciplined in any kind of way, that we're going to come in, step in, and take them from their family. Like, they're creating a situation that's going to do a whole lot more damage than a single ass whooping would do, and also with a lot less lesson learned.
I think this mother was totally in the right. She was trying to discipline her kid. She is in her kid's life, even after the fact. When the bail bondsman came up with her bail,
came and bailed her out.
She said that she wants her 6-pack back under one roof. She wants her child back,
All of the kids, yeah.
Yeah, exactly. So that shows that her willingness to be a mother and to be there for her kids.
What was the quote?
And just because she hit them doesn't mean she doesn't love them.
I remember before I used to get spanked sometimes, this is going to hurt me more than it's going to hurt you.
I doubt that, but okay,
Right.
Proceed. Fine.
I think that was just something they told us, so we
I think now that I'm a dad, I think it did hurt you
a lot.
I think it hurt them a lot.
I wouldn't have been okay. Well, yeah.
So now that I'm a dad.
When I was older,
yeah.
I couldn't.
Because, you hate to see your kid in pain and crying. But, sometimes they need that direction. Like you said, there would be a lot less.
Yeah.
But I think we're missing the point of our system is not set up to... this is a systematic racism thing. You know what I mean? Look at the way that this kid, it was a college kid recently who got charged with raping a girl at a college party.
Because his parents have money. And
exactly. White guy. He didn't get charged.
Right.
And there was another black guy that they associated it with who got like a 4 or 5 year sentence or something crazy like that, in the same type of case. So it's a systematic
thing. There was also
thing.
one guy who didn't commit it. They still gave him like 4 years in jail before the girl came out.
If we let you discipline your kids to the point where it deters them from being incorporated into the criminal justice system, then how is that benefiting us with a prison industrial complex? You know what I mean?
Kids these days don't have any fear.
We have the highest, incarcerated number of people, more so than China, who has like double our population. I mean, we have the highest number of incarcerated people in the world, I believe, like per capita or something. I don't know. I don't know the numbers specifically, but I mean, it's a systematic thing, and this lady was in the right. You broke into your neighbor's house.
So even
that demands a response from the parents.
Even the neighbor came out and she made this statement.
If you break into your neighbor's house, you can't go to your son and say, "Hey, you go over there and put all that stuff back, and you apologize, and that's it." You know what I mean? No. You got to put hands on that, okay, and let them know that if this happens again,
you're gonna learn today.
My thing is though, what made the son think like? Is the mom such a disciplinarian? Exactly. Like, what made him think that this was okay to go do in the first place?
Well, maybe she's not.
Maybe she's not, exactly.
Maybe she's not. 6 kids is a lot of kids. And if you whooping 6 kids, you only got 2 arms. So maybe she wasn't a particularly disciplinarian. And this one time, this kid went way out of line. And her passions were so high that, she whooped their asses so bad that they may have bled from some whelps from an extension cord. But that's definitely not to say that shouldn't have happened. When you break into somebody's house, the other consequence is the police come and catch the kid the next time he does this. And then what happens there? He's
going to end up, being that he's 10, 12, or 13, they're going to end up going to juvie. They're going to get, separated from their siblings and from their mother.
Yes.
And then from there, it's just going to be probably a cycle.
It's going to be a cycle. It's going to go on their record.
They'll be in the system.
Right, they'll have a record, yeah.
Yep. And also it's going to build an extra financial burden on the family. Mm-hmm. So, this was definitely the proper response. And all right, so there's one quote.
I don't know about the proper response because you can't make your kid bleed, though, man. Like, there was another incident with the.
I don't know.
Going back to the whole athlete thing. There was another incident with running back Adrian Peterson 2-3 years ago. He got suspended for a whole year from the league because he whooped his son. His son was like 4 or 5 years old.
Oh yeah, I remember that.
Same thing. He had welts and cuts on him. They said he had. I don't know what Adrian Peterson whooping him with, but, going back to black masculinity, big, tough guy, strong, running back, you know what I mean? Big dude. And you think about him whooping a 4-year-old, they said the 4-year-old had cuts on his testicles because when the belt or whatever he was hitting it with wrapped around, it hit his testicles and was making cuts and welts, you know what I mean?
So it's like, how is regulated?
What is too far in discipline, What is too far? Is it when they start to bleed? Is it hitting them, period? Is it, they have to have a way to gauge this thing and not just say that, you know, she hit them, we're taking the kids, she's in the wrong, and that's it, you know. Because what if, like you said, what if she didn't hit them? They did the same thing again, got caught.
Next go around.
Next thing you know, they're integrated into the system.
They could have been shot.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody's got guns. And in the South.
Yes.
Mm-hmm. They known for having guns.
And speaking of that, being in the South, I think, like, for me, like I said, I was raised in the South. I think it's just, the South is different. The South is what we do. We discipline our kids by beatings or spankings or whoopings like that. I don't think more so North or, you know, I don't think they do that. Because, for example, I know somebody who was originally from up north and they have 2 kids. They didn't believe in spankings and whoopings. They were like, oh, they always put their kid in timeout. You know what I'm saying? Like, and timeout for me was like, that's a joke.
Timeout.
Right. Like, that doesn't do anything.
Although I did hate standing in the corner when I was younger, though. I hated that shit, man. God damn. You never had to go stand in the corner?
They tried everything with D.
No, you never had to go stand in the corner?
Nah.
Or just go to your room.
Hey, you gotta go to my room.
You know, Chris Hare used to have to sit there after school and read the encyclopedia. Dad used to tell him to pick the K from the encyclopedia joint we had. He'd pick the K book and just sit there and read the encyclopedia and take notes. That was terrible, okay?
So did you learn anything, though, after doing that? Like,
of course. I think I was just commenting to Juice in the car on the way up here. It's like, you know, anybody in our inner circle of friends, like you're saying for you, we've never been arrested. We don't have any criminal records. You know what I mean? So that is a reflection of the discipline and the structure we had, the upbringing that we had, you know? Right. Even in the article, there was a neighbor, I think the neighbor's house who they robbed, right?
Right.
She commented and said that she would do the same thing to prevent the cops from getting to them first.
Let me read that comment because I have it right here.
Exactly.
Read it. That if it was me, I'm going to beat you before I let the cops kill you. Mm-hmm. I'm going to do what I have to do. I'm not going to let my children steal and kill and do all of that. I'm not going to let them fall victim to the streets.
Right.
Exactly.
My neighbor whose house was robbed, she at least understands, like, this was a terrible, and she was the victim of this situation.
They were young, they're kids.
Mm-hmm.
But they're
kids do stupid things all the time.
Yeah. And then these kids probably have been over to that neighbor's house a couple of times. So they already knew what was up in there. You know what I'm saying? So, like, the fact that she wouldn't even, you know, have fresh charges or anything like that, it's like, they need more discipline. They definitely probably
knew each other, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, man.
But
I'm sure the mother apologized profusely. Like, please forgive my knuckleheaded, stupid boys.
You know how much trouble I would have gotten if I got caught robbing the neighbor's house when I was 12? Yeah, y'all wouldn't have saw me till I was 14. They'd have been like, "Yo, where did Juice go? Where did D go? Did he move?" So, nah, I just went on punishment for 2 years, dog. Like, hey, tell me them punishments weren't terrible, yo.
I remember, like I said, you get a beating or whooping first, and then I'd be on punishment for like a year. No phone, no TV, no internet. I used to try to go home and sneak downstairs and talk on the phone. My dad pick up the phone, hang that phone up. You know what I'm saying?
Come home from school, do your chores, go in the room. Yes. In the room till it's bedtime. You take a shower, go to bed. Exactly. Come out to use the bathroom or something.
Straight up jail sentence.
I used to be sitting there with the door cracked, just looking out that joint, like looking out into the living room and whatnot, man.
To the world.
It was terrible, man.
They did looking to the world.
Look, all I did was read comic books. That's how I caught up on Spider-Man joints. And just all you could do is read, man. You had to go to the library
or sleep.
Yeah. So that joint was terrible, man. I used to hate being on punishment.
Yeah,
but maybe that's the route this lady should have taken instead of whooping them. I don't know. Maybe she should have just grounded them.
I don't know.
I say both.
Yeah, both. All of them. And put them in the corner.
But when is too far, too far? Is it bleeding?
Huh?
The one kid was bleeding.
So,
they said
the 13-year-old are bloody.
But you know, like, the news. Like, the news definitely skews things. It's definitely going to sensationalize stuff. So if there was, like, some droplets of blood from... Like, she whipped him with an extension cord. Like, I find it hard to imagine, like, a woman... who doesn't work out particularly, who's working at an entrepreneurial job all the time, is going to have enough strength to really whoop a kid enough to cut them and make them bleed.
Is it lacerations, like a straight up cut, or is it like a welt that just happened to have a little blood on top of it? You know what I mean?
I would say that's a laceration. Like,
and then how do we know
and
the
I
kid
had those
didn't
before.
mess with
Like, who didn't have one of those before? If you do something bad enough, you get whooped hard enough, you're going to have some welts on your legs and they may bleed.
I used to get tore up.
Oh, real talk.
I remember one time my toe got busted open. Like, I was bleeding out.
The belt buckle caught on toe?
The belt buckle. Yeah. You'd be like, no!
Oh,
Don't kick it. See? You just kick it. Stop kicking.
That's what you get. You know they get madder when you kick. Right? You know that.
Just take it.
I remember one time I caught the belt.
Yeah.
Set them all. That just set them all when I caught that. He was like, let it go.
Kill him.
I don't want to let it go. You're going to swing it again.
I got one for y'all. One time my mom was beating me so much, we fell on my bed, and she was on top of me. I caught her with a reflex, so like, bam!
Oh my
God! She was like, did you just hit me?
Ace.
It was like, pow, pow.
Hey, look. She turned to the side and spit out the blood. She like, wipe the blood. Yeah, tasted the blood on her lip.
I was like, oh my God.
Oh, Ace was at you like, oh my God.
Yeah, because I was about to die.
Mom went super
Her mom was at you like that. I was like, oh, snap. Shit, the Bruce Lee joint on her.
Damn.
Wow, Ace, you fucked up.
I did.
Yo, you fucked up.
Don't do that.
You knew you fucked up. As soon as they're connected too, he's like,
at that moment.
Take it out.
She knew. She fucked up.
Yo.
Damn.
Damn.
I ain't never swing back. I swing back. I never did that.
I definitely caught the belt before.
I got tired of getting beat. Like
I took the belt before I ran, but like, don't ever.
But hold on, answer this though. Did you ever think about calling CPS after you got any of those whoopings?
Yeah, plenty of times. Like I said, one time I called 911 and I hung up before they answered, and then they called the house back, and I got in trouble.
I never thought about calling. My sister called once too. My sister called on.
I think women or girls are more savvy.
Me myself, I never thought about it. I just took it, and maybe that goes back to what you're saying about masculinity. Like men are supposed to be these emotionless creatures who are not supposed to feel as much. You know what I mean? We're not supposed to have a lot of emotion. We do the manly things. You know
like we can take the beating and understand. Yeah,
we take the beating and keep your mouth shut.
Sucks.
You know,
you gotta deal with it though.
But if you get beat like a couple times a week, you know what I'm saying?
Well, yeah. So that's the thing. So
you're probably bad though. You know what I mean? I wouldn't put it past you to be that you were bad. Were you bad?
I wasn't bad for real. Like a lot of my women
don't lie. You recording you.
A lot of times I got in trouble was because of my grades at school.
Mm-hmm.
That was like the majority of the times that I got in trouble. But like other than like me getting caught doing something like that, like stealing or anything, you know what I'm saying, fighting, I didn't do none of that.
No. Me neither. I never had the balls to steal anything because I knew if I ever got caught,
right?
Like that was it. That
I
would
stole,
be it for me.
but just never from anybody I knew.
I fought
like a neighbor. Yeah.
I'm not gonna tell y'all what I did one time that I got in trouble for.
Well, you might as well say it now. The testimonial microphone right in front of you.
So like one time, I was probably like 12 or 13. I sent these naked pictures to this boy.
Oh my God.
Yes, and his
tell
mom,
me your dad saw it.
His mom called my mom, and I got in trouble for that. So that was an ass whooping.
This is why I'm glad my son was a son. Okay, so I don't have to worry about that when I get it. Oh, I'm sorry, Juice.
Skylar didn't get no phone.
No, and you know back then we had cell phones.
I think I had no.
So these were actual pictures. Like,
how'd you send them? You mailed them?
Oh, Ace! Oh my God, Ace! That's like sending money through the mail. You don't do that.
Oh no,
Ace! It was just like 93. No. Wait a minute. How old were you?
Like I said, like 12, maybe 13.
Okay, yeah, we didn't really. Cell phones weren't that prevalent back then. Yeah, you're right. They weren't that prevalent.
We have to edit this.
Dang, Ace. No, that's too good of a that's too meaty right there to cut, Ace. Right? That's some good meat.
As soon as my daughter can type, I'm getting rid of the internet. We got no internet in the house.
You're just gonna cut off her fingers. Yeah, you ain't typing nothing.
Not in this house.
You go press send on that.
I'm
just gonna mirror her.
I'm gonna have everything.
You get her phone mirrored.
Yep. I have everything on my phone. I'm gonna have every email go to me first. Nothing's leaving this house without screening. Every text.
They're gonna say, "Hey, what you doing?" Okay, that's cool. Yeah,
you know what I'm saying?
Click that. Go through.
So what is Scarlett?
What is this?
Yeah, man, that's crazy though. I mean, yeah, I never even thought about calling CPS when I was younger, man. It just never even crossed my mind. It was like, take the beating.
So
cry,
did the kids call CPS or the neighbors, somebody else?
I don't think it's specified, but
yeah, it didn't.
It's probably a neighbor. Somebody probably heard the ruckus.
Because they said the police came,
right?
And the police saw the kids lacerated. So I think the police.
And the lacerations were on the oldest child, which, like I said, he was probably the one quarterbacking it or, perpetrating the whole thing. He probably pulled the other kids into it more so.
And he's
which
the
is
oldest.
why he was the one that got the worst beating.
The oldest always gets it worse.
Mm-hmm. So yeah, I don't see anything wrong with this mom. Let her have her kids back. I mean, like we said, there's too many parents. Mothers and fathers who are not involved in the kid's life.
Right.
Like you see she's working, see she's trying. She's always... Shit happens,
And where are the
Stuff
father
happens.
or apostrophe S apostrophe? You know, where are the father or fathers? You know what I mean?
Fathers.
And he wasn't mentioned.
Exactly. So let the mom discipline them.
Yeah.
The father is not. Maybe
But
the
and
father's not there.
No, you're gonna say like for me as a female, like my father, he never disciplined me. Like he never once whipped me or anything like that. It was always my mother. So for guys, was it more so, you know, your fathers or whoever raised you, or was it your mother that did the discipline for you all?
I got whoopings from mom, but I got whoopings from the man. Okay,
Okay.
dude wasn't. But that was the oldest son, right?
Right.
I got both.
Mm-hmm.
But my
I
dad was
used
the
to catch
worst.
I used to catch a quick slap in the head from my aunt, you know, but it was never like the whoopings. The whoopings always came from the man. So.
I remember once when I was like 12 or so, my mom was whooping me, and it wasn't that bad. And I guess she saw that it
You
wasn't
ain't
that
feel
bad.
Juice was eating that drink.
Yeah, it was like, she was like, "Oh, you tough? All right." So she put the belt down. So we wait till your dad gets home. Man, my dad came home. He had this belt.
It's like
Look,
Yo,
Dad-
he had this
Dad
belt.
wrapped
That
the
joint
belt
was
around his
thick.
fist. He
That
did
joint was
like-
thick. It had a zipper inside, and in that zipper, you put change.
huh? What kind of belt was it?
Was it a
It
fanny
was like
pack?
a big ass.
Did you got whooped with a fanny
like
pack?
it was like an instick. That joint was like an instick. It was leather and it was thick, like, and it had a zipper on the inside of the belt,
Did they put change in that joint?
and you could put change in that
It's
joint,
all
and he
right.
had change in that
They
joint.
put like nails and glass in that joint or whatnot.
Yo,
The Juice got whooped
tore
like
my
that.
ass up, man, when he got home.
Hey, look, your mom told him too. He wasn't acting. You act like it wasn't hurting when I was doing
You
it.
know what I'm saying? He said, "Apparently, I can't do it."
Dang.
Man, that joint was crazy.
Well, those are the topics. This is why I said we need a backup topic. Yeah.
I mean, I got one.
What's that?
Well, all right. So it's up to you guys whether or not you guys want to talk about this. The Michael Jackson case. So I don't really have many notes on it, and this is what I've saw on the web and on Facebook. And I can't remember if it was the what police department it was, but some files were released through a news media organization, and they had pretty much they were saying they had proof that Michael Jackson was into pedophilia. And they said that it was stuff they recovered from his hard drive during an investigation into some child pornography scandal from years and years ago. And they opened up this hard drive, and in it they found images of, they said gay porn, some
Child pictures, right?
yeah, sadomasochistic stuff, and
Animal
some child
torture.
pictures, animal torture, right, stuff like that.
It was 80 video recordings and computer hard drives, as well as notes, diaries, documents, photographs, and audio tapes. And this was
Yes.
Santa Barbara.
Center of our police.
Yes, county sheriff.
I don't know if I believe this report.
So that's
Man.
the thing, man. Like, we know, look, Michael Jackson was a disturbed individual. He just happened to be a celebrity. But I can't say that after as many cases that have been litigated and have been settled out of court, there was quite a few cases that have been settled out of court for large amounts of money. I can't say that this is too implausible.
To me, show me. I need to see this stuff before I just jump out on a limb and believe it. I mean, he had his child molestation cases years ago when he was alive.
Right, took 14
and then
years
all
to
of a
trial.
sudden, they just happen to find things on his hard drive. Child or animal
It was not all of a
torture.
sudden. They just not releasing it.
I mean, I don't know if I believe it. I don't know
But
if I
what made
believe it.
them
I need
even
to
go
see it.
into, like, look at that?
That is the question. Like, what would make them go into
And this
and
is
then
all coming up around his anniversary of his death. Like,
Is it?
he's been dead now for, I think he died in 2009.
What is
So
the
7
motivation
years.
for all this?
Right.
that is a question. I have no idea.
Has his land and estates, have those been divvied out to his family by now?
I
don't
think so.
Are they still up for grabs?
You know what? I don't know.
Because
Maybe
this
not.
could be
I'm
a power-
assuming that after 7 years, why not?
This could be intertwined to a power play for that stuff. You know, like it is for Prince
I
now.
don't
They
know
can't
what's-
figure out who to give Prince's estate to.
Oh yeah, that's
You know,
it.
they said like his
But he
great
just died
niece
like a
might
couple
get it.
months ago.
And he died in April.
So yeah, so
But you would figure
that's
Michael
like a good
Jackson
amount
had
of
more.
time.
I don't know, man. I don't know. I'm always skeptical of things, especially stories like this. Why is this coming out so far after the fact that his death happened and occurred?
Like, I don't know if it's about, like, you would think, like, rights to music, but
Mm-hmm.
it's been so long. I'm sure all that's been settled. 7 years. Like, I feel like a lot of the property and all those things have been sorted out. So, I don't know.
Yeah, I'm always skeptical about stories like what's going on with Michael Jackson. I don't know. I Sometimes I need to start being a little more trusting, I think. You know?
No, I don't think so at all. I think you're doing good, man.
This particular case, though, is like, why now?
So
you telling me it took 7 years for them to figure this out? That he had inappropriate pornographic images of kids and animal torture on his hard drive? Why is it taking 7 years? You know?
Yeah, like, why didn't you bring it up during the cases?
Exactly.
You know? So here's something
some
that
kind
came
of other
up
motivation
later.
behind it.
So they had to. So actually, a couple of news agencies posted like not a retraction, but they like had to restate some facts. So it turns out that some of those books that are mentioned, some of those are art books that they had, and they're pretty old art books. Like, I don't want to say medieval, but they're really old, and they have some depictions of children in that jump. You know, they had some depictions of children in that jump, and they had also, it was contrasted between youth and age, and so they were saying that, oh, these aren't pornographic pictures, these are pictures, artistic pictures, you know. And he had a couple of books, and some of those were included in what they released, and also they said that the news media had some paperwork that they found online and included also that stuff into the media release. So I don't think, and that really makes you wonder, like we were saying, man, like, why all of a sudden would all this come out with some of these strange, like, later released inconsistencies that they bring up? Like, oh, well, we didn't mean this part.
They possibly want to slander his name, or
that's what makes me think
his name
more.
Or something like that. And what is the motivation behind that? That's what I want to know.
But
like,
I can't say I don't believe that he was in child porn. I can't say that is. I can't say I don't believe it, dude. Maybe that's me when always trying to look for with the family for $20 million out of court. Like, that's a large amount of money and a red flag.
People with money settle out of court all the time just to get it out of the way, over and done with. They settle for $20 million. I don't have to pay you $1 billion. You know what I mean? So okay, fine, just take the $20 million. You know,
or go to jail.
And it's also like, what was the kid saying? I don't know, man. Maybe it's me always trying to look for the best in people, but I can't believe anybody would be that devious and that's sick.
I mean, look at the Subway guy, Jared.
Yeah, like, you would have thought Jared would have.
Right.
Well, I mean, just because the guy eats sandwiches don't mean that he ain't into child porn. You know what I mean? The Michael Jackson was like such a
classic
pop culture icon. Michael Jackson is such a pop culture icon, and so many more people looked up to him than to, what's the guy's name? Jared from Subway. Subway Jared. You know what I mean? Like, it's just, I don't know, man. It's just, I'm skeptical of it. I want to know why now. Why, you know, all of a sudden did you find these images and pictures and all this other stuff? And he died in 2009. You know, it doesn't take that long to disseminate whether he had child porn or animal torture on his hard drive.
Right. You know? I agree, man. I agree. It's weird, man. But Michael Jackson used to be black. I mean, so he was a strange person.
He was weird, okay? Like we said, he was into that skin lightening stuff, but that's fine.
He had monkeys for pets.
Not just skin lightening.
Hey,
he changed
I was
his
like
nose.
a monkey. You know, like, if you had a little monkey jumping around here, you'd be like, go get my wine.
Guys, I don't think you understand. He has white children, but he's black.
Adopted white children. Maybe his mentality was messed up for being a celebrity for so long. We forget Michael Jackson was a celebrity since he was like 6, 7. You know,
I agree.
When did Jackson 5 form? He was like 8 years old. You know
How many crazy child celebrity actors are there?
That can drive you crazy. You know what I mean? Being at that level of status so young in your life, do you really get to have a childhood? You know what I mean? So maybe in his adulthood, he was trying to relive his childhood. Hence the having slumber parties and having the Neverland Ranch and having an amusement park in his backyard. I mean, he's trying to relive his childhood. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Those are red flags.
I'm not saying it's normal. But he was not a normal guy. He was Michael Jackson. You know, do we know what it's like to be in Michael Jackson's shoes when he was alive? Or, you know, even from the time he was so young to the time he was older? We don't know what that's like. Having every move being watched and being
told what to do.
Exactly.
Remember when he had his baby like up on the balcony and the world's freaking out.
So you think about him being around Hollywood and for so long, maybe he associated being white with, I don't know, maybe being lighter with being happy or fitting in or something like that. You know what I mean? Now we're getting into psychological stuff, but maybe that's why he had the white kids.
I think that psychological thing is a very big point of it, because I don't think you're normal if you have an addiction to child porn or have any sexual inclinations.
That's allegedly, Juice. Allegedly, he had an addiction to child porn. All right.
And yet,
I mean, I always look like I said,
out of court.
the best in humanity. 20 million is nothing to Michael Jackson. He probably picks that for
You
pie.
probably
Right? You probably right.
You know what I mean?
You're definitely
Nothing
right.
to him, yeah. So
And yet,
I mean, okay, fine. He did settle out, but at that point, it was his word versus the kid's word. How do you know the kid wasn't being directed to say, "Hey, he did this to you"?
But wasn't it
wasn't
multiple
just one
kids?
kid over time?
Yeah, that came out and he settled with all of them.
But he's a target. He is a target for stuff like this because of how he is. I'm sorry, I'm on the wrong side of the argument. Yeah, yeah,
He is a target.
multiple kids.
He is a target.
Yeah.
I mean, he's Michael Jackson.
I don't think we can know you. I mean,
maybe all the kids' parents got together and said to themselves, "Hey, we can get $20 million out of this dude." You know what I mean?
Yeah,
if we
I
tell
want
our
you to
kids
go
to go
and
along
say,
with this story.
Yeah, Michael Jackson touched you.
But I mean,
Jackson
what
molested
grown? See, now we should have did some research on these facts. How did he even get a chance to touch the kids, or inappropriately touch the kids, or molest the kids, whatever? Did they really spend the night at his house?
Yeah.
We would all let our kids go stay the night at Michael Jackson's house. If Michael Jackson came to us and said, "Hey, your kids, we had a contest," or however they got chosen to go to his house, you wouldn't let Scarlett. I imagine they didn't just say.
I would not.
I imagine they didn't just say, "Bring the kids." The parents got to stay. The parents had to be involved there somehow.
Well, yeah.
He probably invited the whole family
If
there.
I was there and there were other kids in the room,
So we need to know the details.
where Michael Jackson was all the time.
We need to know the details. Of this,
Yeah.
okay. Okay, I'm just saying. I wouldn't let my son go
I need
stay in
to
his house
peek in
either.
on Michael
okay?
Jackson.
Like if a limo pulled up and Michael Jackson stepped out, and I wouldn't let my son get in it and drive off by themselves. You know what I mean? But
No, you wouldn't do that. Yeah.
I would definitely let my son go tour the Neverland Ranch if Michael Jackson invited us over there. You know what I mean?
We all
Definitely. So how did the kids get in his bed?
Who's that doing in his bed?
Well, how did he molest him?
I'm sure you could do it out of the bed. I don't know.
And he like
It's
videotaped
creepy.
in the
I
locker
want to
room.
think about it.
Michael Jackson was like, "Hey, why don't y'all go shower in the locker room?" And he got a locker room in his house and whatnot. He just had a
In his
video
bedroom.
camera. Yeah, he had a video camera and shit.
So why is the locker room in your bedroom?
I don't know. Just shut up and get wet.
Y'all cannot do Michael like this. No.
Yeah, you're right. It ain't right. I'm sorry.
We cannot know. There's too much to not know.
I don't know. It's weird, man. I don't like them slandering his name. Next thing you know, we're gonna hear some scandalous stuff about Prince come out.
Oh, yes,
something
already
about Prince
some
is going,
scandalous stuff
and then they're
come
gonna say Muhammad Ali we found something on his hard drive where he had animal torture or some crap like that. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
It just they want to. It's about even
It's about media.
Emasculating
you all
right.
the time. That's
Exactly.
what it's
Just
about.
destroying us
Just
as black
destroying
people.
people.
trying to
Right.
destroy that image of of that person.
Nobody care
He's a
about Charlie
positive
Sheen
icon.
and his creepy ass no more.
Exactly.
Right,
They're
right,
still
right.
fucking drunk
beating
all the
down
time
on
and
Bill Cosby.
doing blow and whatnot. You know what I mean? We never hear anything about him.
Like, yeah, Charlie Sheen's blow usage is just like normal now. Like,
And
oh,
then-
Charlie Sheen,
Charlie
massive
Sheen
monster drugs,
showed
but
up
he's
to
still great.
the Academy Awards on blow, but it's cool.
That's cool.
And didn't he give people HIV?
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, so
Oh,
like,
hey, come on, allegedly, Ace. He allegedly gave you HIV, okay?
everything's
Hey.
alleged, huh?
We can't let y'all slander Charlie Sheen like that.
Oh, but
Can't
y'all
be
can slander
allegation.
Michael Jackson name though.
Hey, this is all alleged.
Michael Jackson been getting slandered since '96. Whatever the kids press them charges on him. I don't know. This is weird. Everybody makes fun of everybody, man. People were going on Michael Jackson so hard. Like I remember Dave Chappelle had a stand up where he was going on Michael Jackson. That shit
He
was
was like,
funny
how'd
as
you
hell.
know what was Michael Jackson's penis out of the lineup?
Yeah.
Said the one with the glitter on it. I was like, oh, of course. So this kid knows.
Oh my god.
Oh, snap.
Oh,
Said he
wow.
let his kids go stay at Michael Jackson's house.
So can you pick his out
He
of the
said,
lineup?
look, then he said, all of a sudden, Michael pulled out some wine and some pills and a camera.
Y'all is terrible.
He said, hey, look, and then Michael sucked this kid's dick. He said, then the kid had the nerve to call that abuse. He said, motherfucker, that is a good host. God damn. He said, how many times you go over to somebody's house and you ride a roller coaster and get your dick sucked? You know what I mean? That's a good host. Right? Hey, I thought about it. I said, damn, that's true. What about, Dave Chappelle is funny, though.
Oh, yeah.
But all that happened before he died. And, after he died, nobody talks about Michael
you can't
anymore,
say
man.
You can't
Whenever
say
you
now.
die, you become the greatest of all time.
Until they release some shit
Yeah.
like this. Then.
It's kind of skeptical.
Maybe they did this for the sake of comedy.
Mm-hmm. Who knows, man? Who knows?
I don't believe it.
Well, is that episode 7?
Yes.
Intelligent
episode
Idea
7.
Talkers podcast series. How long have we been going for? I think it's become a tradition that I ask on air every time we record how long we've been going for.
About an hour 23. So.
Oh, nice. Wow.
We did
Perfectly wraps
good.
it
We
up.
did good.
I think so.
Yeah.
And I think one thing with all three of us recording now is we have to do a better job listening to episode, was it 7 we're recording? Mm-hmm. Listening to episode 6, we had a tendency to talk over each other at times, which I think can be excused a little bit by the fact that we were drinking wine during the thing, but I think we did a better job this episode of letting individuals speak and not having so much jumbled up audio,
I got it. Yeah.
Yeah, because we got to stop talking over each other so that we can let people clearly hear what we're saying,
And get their points across.
Mm-hmm.
And also, some of us need to stop cursing so much.
Ace.
Really? That's fine.
Yeah.
That's fine.
Yeah, I'll take that. I'll be that. You know what I mean? Yeah, that's cool, man. Well, I want to thank all you guys for joining us. If any of you guys are joining us, don't forget to like, comment, subscribe. All
Any
of that.
updates? We got any updates for the people? I know Ace, she was up here taking some pictures, so I think it's safe to say.
Take a picture of me.
Instagram we're on Twitter at IntelliTalkers.
It's good chances that we're gonna have an Instagram
Coming
coming up soon.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? And we got the Twitter feed, the D's up and popping on
Which
Twitter feed.
Twitter is so weird. I'm still trying to get used to Twitter.
Who wants we can do Facebook, man. I definitely think Facebook is probably better. You know what I'm saying? Don't look at the cameras.
I'm not looking at the camera.
I took 2.
Yeah, so, and then of course SoundCloud is in the process. We'll have SoundCloud up, so you just have audio on your drives or wherever you go. You don't have to deal with the video. Yeah, SoundCloud.
SoundCloud's cool.
Yeah, it is, man.
Yeah, they do. They have a lot of stuff that is hard to be filtered through on YouTube or something like that. Yeah.
A lot of stuff that's not mainstream too,
Yeah.
but still good music,
Yeah.
quality stuff on SoundCloud. So.
I got a bunch of playlists on SoundCloud.
Yeah.
Or, yeah, me too.
Music, yeah.
So if they ever want to give us a sponsorship, we love SoundCloud.
SoundCloud.
Shout out to SoundCloud.
Shout out to SoundCloud. Hashtag SoundCloud.
SoundCloud. Yeah, tripping. All right, folks. Thanks for joining us again. Episode number 7. Signing off. I'm your host, D.
This is Juice.
And I'm the A to the C to the E.
Damn it, Ace. I told you to let us know when you're going to do that again, all right? We got to come in with better outros and intros for this, because Ace is doing us up. Yeah, right?
You won't find another like me.
Oh, snap. Taking us out.
Man.
All right, that's a good outing right there.
All right, peace, everybody.
Peace.
Peace.